I really need to get a new spot to film. And a tripod, that would help a lot.
Hi YouTube. Hey people, what's doing? Hey guys, what's up? Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey guys, what's up? What's up, YouTube? Hey guys, what's up? Hey guys, it's Bailey. Hey guys, it's Bailey. Anyway, as you can probably tell, I've been fucking up again with making videos frequently, but I'm here now. And the reason I'm here is because, as I am almost 10 months into transition, I've been looking back at how far I've come in life. And that of course got me thinking of all the really weird things I used to do as a kid. So I figure, for a new video, why not tell you all about it? So here goes, all the weird things I used to do as a kid. One thing I did, this was a one-time thing, I cut my hair. Now, I know a lot of you probably have done that as a kid, but the reason I did it was probably not the same as all of you. See, I used to have a collection of VHS tapes, mostly Disney, but then there were a few that weren't Disney. One of them, one I used to love to watch, was called Madeline Lost in Paris. For those of you who don't know what Madeline is, she's like that little girl who goes to like that boarding school and like they walk in straight lines and they break their bread and they brush their teeth or something. It's been a few years, and I don't really remember the details. Either way, I do remember in this movie, she ended up in like this weird sweatshop type thing where she had to make lace, and the big threat was that if the girls didn't make the lace, their hair would be cut off and it would be used to make lace or something. This movie was a mess now that I think about it. So one night, I decided, hey, why don't I try to make brown lace out of my own hair? That didn't go so well. Basically what happened was the next morning, since it was late at night when I did this, my mom came in to find kind of clumps of hair in various places, and my mattress was kind of coated in a light layer of strands of hair. Basically, she had to take me to the beauty salon that day for an emergency hair appointment. And for the longest time, my mom would claim that I did that in reaction to 9/11, but back then, as I was like 7 years old, I really had no clue what 9/11 was or what really happened. And I don't remember when I finally told her it was because of that stupid video. Come to think of it, I think I told her at that time and she just got her own idea. I don't know, it was really weird. Moving right along. Another thing I did was I used to choreograph my own dance routines. And this was like so ridiculously precise. I had a whole kind of a track list of songs that I would play on various CDs that I had as a kid. I remember there was like Britney Spears, there was Backstreet, I think there was some Aaron Carter thrown in there. Anyway, my big dream was to have this whole choreographed dance group, and I invited all my friends to come join in it, and I even taught some of them some of the routines I made up, and they were just really stupid. And I used to practice them all the time in my bedroom, and I would get so mad if one of my parents walked in and interrupted me. It was so weird how obsessive I was over this. I used to think I was a scientist. No, I really, really thought I was a scientist for a while. It started out with like, I was at my grandmother's house once a week. My mom would have like something to do like PTA related or something on Wednesday nights, and I would spend the evening at my grandparents' house. I would take anything my grandmother would allow me to use in the kitchen, like, you know, food coloring, and like I remember like these mini frozen bagels that she would let me defrost and, you know, use the food coloring on or whatever. And I would just make these wacko experiments out of this stuff. I don't even remember what most of it was. I just remember there was food coloring. And I wouldn't like eat it or anything. I would just request that it be refrigerated. I don't know what I expected to find if it was refrigerated. So since it was getting chilly out, it was like fall or something, she put it outside because she didn't want to take up space in her actual refrigerator. Well, the next week, my grandmother informs me that a raccoon had come and knocked it over while it was outside, and I was freaking devastated. So the only thing I really learned from that scientific experiment was raccoons suck. But I didn't stop there on my scientific endeavors. Oh no. I tried to make a flying cat. Just let that shit sink in. It started out like I actually tried to do research. I tried to find books on cats and books on basic chemistry from my school's library. However, I was in elementary school and they really didn't have much past the dead basics. And I was actually really pissed about that. So I tried to construct a potion of sorts that would be fed to a kitten, and the kitten would sprout wings and be able to fly. Thank motherfuck, I never had a kitten to actually experiment on. Oh jeez, no. So eventually I gave up that dream. And a little bit into the future, I would start playing outside, and I started playing with roly-polies, you know, those little sow bugs or whatever you call them. The little bugs that curl up into a pill and hide and stuff. I used to conduct experiments on that. This is where it gets fucking crazy, if you didn't think it was crazy before. I actually used to take needles from my sewing kit and construct like these little, I don't know, mixtures of like dirt and certain weeds or whatever and water. And I used to prick a hole in the sow bugs and try to pour the mixture in as if I was giving them a vaccination. Because I realized that vaccine needles had, you know, like, they were hollowed out so you could, you know, prick someone and then inject whatever it was. I remember I took like a piece of straw and I put like aluminum foil at one end, filled the substance in the other, and then put another piece of aluminum foil over it, and then I put the needle in backwards and pushed it so it jutted out a little bit at the end so like I could actually, you know, push down. Basically try to prick the bug with the needle and then push the substance in. It didn't work, and I just killed many bugs that way. I'm a bug murderer. And of course, lastly, with the science, I used to try to bring dead earthworms back to life. No kidding. I think I watched one too many of those TV shows or movies where like a drop of water or something would wake up the hero who's been knocked unconscious or presumed dead or whatever. Because I used to take dead earthworms, put them in one of my buckets, and fill it with water. And just leave it. I used to think earthworms would come back to life if I gave them water, and I really had problems. One thing I did that was a little less weird, was I performed plays with my stuffed animals. So I remember there was one I tried to do Peter Pan, and I didn't really have the plot of Peter Pan fully memorized, so that really did not go well. I forced my parents and grandparents to sit through these plays of mine. I would actually construct elaborate costumes, I'd make props, sometimes even scenery, and I would have the animals perform, and it was a mess. I really had no clue what I was doing with a lot of it. One thing I did when I was like 4 or 5 was I would give random gibberish names to stuff that I found like outside or food or stuff. I don't remember any of them per se. I just know that I really confused a lot of people. I actually remember one of my nursery school teachers, when I remember I picked up a toy can of beans, you know, like at the kitchen set or whatever, and I said, "This isn't baked beans, it's whatever the fuck I said." And my teacher just turns around just like, "What?" I just remember the look on her face. It was freaking priceless. There's one thing I did for a time was there was a light reflection on the kitchen floor in my old house. And I would run around. What would happen is like there was one entrance on one side of the kitchen, and then there was another exit. It kind of curved around, and it would both lead to like the main hallway in the living room. So I'd literally run in a circle trying to dodge this reflection of light that seemed to be chasing me. I did that for, I don't know, maybe a month or so. You know, I don't even remember how that got started, and I don't even remember growing out of it. It just happened. One thing, I don't know how my grandfather put up with this, but I used to teach my papa the dialogue to commercials. Okay, it was one commercial. It was this one Geico commercial where like a duck would walk on and talk about like, you know, Geico's insurance prices compared to others. And at the end he said the result, and then he removes his bill, and there was a tiny bill underneath, and you go, "Smaller bill." And I thought that was hilarious. I remember we used to take walks together all the time, and there was this, like, church within walking distance of where I lived. And we would sit in the churchyard on these ceramic benches or whatever, and I would just go over the dialogue to it, and he would repeat it back to me, and I don't know how he ever put up with that. It was really funny. I do remember at some point when me and my folks came over to his and my Nana's place for dinner, and he said, "Oh, I have something for you." And I'm like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna get a present. It's not even my birthday, it's not even Hanukkah, oh my god." And what he hands me is an advertisement that had been mailed to him for Geico. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, where's the present? It was stupid. A couple of things I did when I got a little older, not too much older, but old enough to know that I couldn't, you know, bring worms back from the dead or anything. I tried to make plays out of TV shows. Specifically Kim Possible. That was my shit as a kid. It basically started out with me and a friend acting out Kim Possible at his house. You know, I was Kim, he was Ron, or whatever. And we, like, made up our own story at that point. But then we got the idea in our heads to make it into an actual play, like our own little Kim Possible adventure. But that evolved into me trying to write down the dialogue of every single episode into scripts and try to find a way to actually perform the plays. It didn't succeed very well. It didn't happen, no. I think I got, like, through 3 episodes into scripts, and then at one point I remember I tried to make my own Kim Possible thing. I am so glad that script never really saw the light of day. Last thing I did as a kid that was just totally fucking stupid that I can remember, I used to try to teach my cat. I constructed a desk for her out of a cardboard box. Like, I took the flap of the box and folded it back and taped it in place to make like a desk. And I used to try to teach her how to write. I don't know when I grew out of that, but I'm kinda glad I did. I'm also kinda glad my cat isn't terrified of me nowadays. So anyway, that was just all the weird things I did as a kid. What were some of yours? Down below, let me know. And hopefully I'll be a little more diligent with uploading videos.